They're weird about the prescriptions. Like, I don't even want an opioid pain reliever. I just want the thing that works. Like, usually they give you Vicodin with it, and they get all weird. Like, oh, I don't want to give you a Vicodin. You're an addict. Well, that's what I said. Wow, I want it.
Like, why would a doctor say that? Oh, I don't want to give you that. You're an addict. I mean, if a doctor's saying that for no reason, they are not basing that on anything, I don't think that doctor's going to keep their job very long, right? If they're being that unprofessional, I think they're going to get reported for something and lose their license. All right? They probably have a reason to believe that. You know, like maybe if you were on stream talking to ᴬᴰᴰᴵᴜᴚ and he said, yeah, sometimes I like to just tough it through the pain. So then when I feel better, I can pop the pain pills and drink.
I've become kind of a watch guy, not like the crazy $100,000 watch people, but like, you know, you buy a watch for maybe 10 grand. You could wear it. You could probably still sell it for like 6 or 7 grand if you buy like the right kind of watches. So
imagine oh, you know what? This is a reasonable purchase because it might only lose 40% of its value. Okay, that's true of like a coffee machine too, or video games. Right? Lots of things only lose like 40% of their value used. You probably get 60% of what you paid for just about anything other than food. But somehow in the quartering's head, oh, but no, this is a smart investment that I'm making. Personally, I think it's a little bit weird to be spending $10,000 on an accessory as a man, especially a conservative man. To me, that seems like pretty feminine coded behavior to be spending tens of thousands of dollars on accessories. So he definitely left the store still covered in feces. And this is the guy saying that the blacks ruined his Walmart. The guy who is literally walking about the place dripping in poop. So much so that by the time he gets back to his car, he's still dripping. And his wife's like, "What? You ruined the seats. What are you doing?" But he's going to tell people how they should live their lives. The Quartering has been on a legendary grifting, begging, shilling arc lately. Last few months at the very least. And I haven't been keyed in to the Quartering for all that long. Mostly just the last few months. I get the impression the shilling has been bad for a long, long time. A lot of his fans complaining about promoting the coffee company all of the time. And the way this guy does it is especially embarrassing because you would think a guy like the Quartering, a guy that professes the politics that he does, would be a sort of free market type of guy, but he likes to socialize all of the losses and then privatize the gains for himself. It's an interesting combination of different economic systems. Seems to only benefit him at the expense of his fans, but it seems to be working for him. But a lot of the fans really, really not happy with this. So when I first started following this was from this video here. Woke leftists just screwed me over and all my staff. And if you use sponsor block here, you'll see that it says unpaid/self-promotion. You hover over it. This entire video is labeled as this category and is too tightly integrated to be able to separate. So this comes from user submissions. The Quartering's fans flagged this entire video as unpaid self-promotion. And the sponsor block says, we're not even going to try and break this up. It's not worth it. The whole video is an ad. And he says woke leftists screwed over him and all of his staff. He has no actual evidence for this. The guy who did his Keurig cups just ghosted him, basically. And so the Quartering freaks out. He's like, oh, I need to buy an $80,000 piece of equipment. So you guys should pay for that. The fans, you should pay for that. Help me out, please. It's very important that I am able to sell Keurig cups of coffee. Never offers any evidence that this guy is a woke leftist. He just assumes the guy found out about his YouTube channel and didn't like his politics, and that's why he got ghosted. Obviously, that's possible, but he provides zero evidence for it and just does a 12-minute ad for his coffee company.
What's wrong, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I wasn't sure I was going to go public about this, but
just look at the body language here. I'm only going to watch a couple seconds of this, but look at his body language. It's very, very shifty. Almost unable to make any eye contact, and doing this the whole time. He just looks uncomfortable and unable to actually face his audience.
It appears I have to now. Many of you know that I've got a lot of irons in the fire. you've heard me say, hey, I've got my mega mixology cookbook to help fund the new studio. I've obviously
Mega mixology, that it's a bunch of regular drink recipes, but with AI pictures of Trump on it and some stupid quirky name so that it's MAGA or Trump themed. It's very embarrassing. I don't know why you would do anything like that, and especially I don't know why you would pay any amount of money for that.
it's a meme, but you all know I have my coffee company. Well,
So there you go. He says, it's a meme, but you all know I have my coffee company. And the reason he says that is because he's constantly shilling his coffee company, and his fans are very, very sick of it. So since this happened, I've been keeping tabs on the quarter, and I love when people are begging on YouTube. That's one of my favorite genres of videos, is multimillionaires begging and pleading for money as if they don't have it easy enough. And I don't know how you can make the level of money that these people do and still bring yourself down to the level of a street beggar, right? How is it not enough? How is it not enough for any of these YouTubers that they can't just say, this is awesome. I'm going to get to retire earlier than pretty much everybody else. I'm going to get to have a great time while I'm working, better job than pretty much anything out there, make my own hours, all that stuff. No, that's not enough. They need to lick up every single little penny off of the table. They can't leave anything out there, and they don't care how much they degrade themselves to get that money. So a lot of these posts here, maybe all of them that I'm going to show here, are courtesy of Return of the Mac and Cheese. Big shout outs to this guy. He's a prolific quartering hater. He's really the one keeping tabs on this guy, right? I'm just reading his posts. So anyway, he says, the new grift has arrived. Guys, we are doing a fundraiser to expand coffee brand coffee facilities and make coffee facial scrub, which, as you all know, facial scrubs very popular with conservative men. They're always talking about their facial scrubs.
Coffeebrandcoffee.com/summer will get you access to an important fundraiser that we're running right now to help expand our facilities. I've been running a coffee company for about the last 3 years, and I put together our 3 best flavors ever. Kona, which is like $50 a bag. It's the first time we've ever had it. It's the only time.
He says Kona, which is like $50 a bag. Well, at your store, sure, maybe it's like $50 a bag. Everywhere else, it's half the price or less. So it doesn't really mean anything to me, right? You could just price something ridiculously and then put it in a bundle on the same website for a little bit less. Look at what a deal is, right? I'm selling this somewhere else on the site for twice as much, but here you're getting such a great deal. I mean, you might as well just do the thing where, put $100 as the price tag and then cross it out and put $80 there. Oh my God, what a deal.
Way we've ever sold it is in this bundle. Tiger's Blood, which is ridiculously good. Blackberry Cream. There's a new Steel Challenge coin and a signed, numbered thank you letter from me. We're trying to expand our facility so we can.
I mean, imagine being the type of person who cares about a signed letter from the quartering. Any YouTuber, really? Unless you're a kid, that's unacceptable. Caring about a signed letter from a YouTuber is also, it's not real, right? It's probably just printed on there. At best, maybe they have a stamp. But you really think a guy as lazy as the quartering is sitting there and signing his name even 100 times for his fans? No way is he doing that. There's hardly a return on investment.
Make our own coffee scrub, and we have the machine, and now we're trying to stock up on the ingredients and try to perfect it, and we need some help with that. So in exchange for our 3 best coffee.
So here he says he's buying another machine. Just a couple months ago, he begged his fans to bail him out to buy a Keurig cup machine, and now he needs a coffee facial scrub machine. And he's doing a fundraiser for that. That's another thing that the fans should pay for. Like, how? How do you get it into your head that this is a good idea? You've had to ask people to bail you out so many times, sometimes specifically using the word bailout, and you're trying stuff like a facial scrub. What? Just stick with the coffee, right? Coffee to begin with, pretty stupid business, I think, to go into because it's so competitive, and most people have their coffee that they like. It's already part of their daily routine. They're not looking to change that up. Maybe if they're a big fan of you, they'll try it out one time, especially with the prices here. $100 for what, 3 things of coffee there? Not worth it. Not worth it at all. But now he's going to go into the facial scrub market. Like, bro, stick to what works. If the business was booming and you'd been super successful and you hadn't had to ask for bailouts over and over again, fair enough. You want to try something else, try something a little bit more experimental, then you can afford to take a little bit of a hit. But that's not the situation TheQuartering is in. He's had to beg and plead for his audience to keep his business afloat. And he's like, oh, you know what? I'll sell a facial scrub to conservative men. I mean, what a dope.
Fees ever, and the signed letter, you know, in exchange for your support, I'm hoping you'll go there today and buy one. Like, after this stream, go to coffeebrandcoffee.com/summer. It's limited to about 2,000 units.
I don't even think I mentioned it this time. But Coffee Brand Coffee is so stupid. That is like a ᴰᴵᴰᴵᴜᴜᴜ attempt at a name for your coffee brand. And it's got to be just the worst thing for search engine optimization. Coffee Brand Coffee? Like, you could be looking up coffee brand that is the best value. Coffee brand that has the most caffeine. Coffee brand that's sold at Walmart. There are so many things that you could genuinely be searching up, and even if you've typed in 2/3 of his name, they're probably going to come up before Coffee Brand Coffee. It's unreal to me that this is the name that he came up with. It's no wonder that he's struggling.
One. Like, after this stream, go to coffeebrandcoffee.com/summer. It's limited to about 2,000 units, and I want you to get them before they're gone. And if nothing else, think about it this way. You're going to have...
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. You're just worried that some of your fans might really want this and not be able to get it. So please hurry, guys. I don't want anybody to be left out. I don't want anybody to miss out on the opportunity to spend $100 on, what is it, 31 ounces of coffee. That's what it is, 2 12s and a 7 for $100. But remember, you get a coin and TheQuartering's going to sign a letter for you.
3 ultra premium bags of coffee, but you're also going to be contributing to an American business with American employees, and a company that doesn't hate you. And plus, I guarantee you'll find this coffee the most delicious you've ever had. And so I'm really, really hoping you'll go coffeebrandcoffee.com/summer and give it a try, because I need to sell them, and I want you to taste them. I think they're going to be very, very good.
I want you to taste them? Why did he say it like that? What's going on here? Is that actually the end of the video? It says there's 7 seconds left, but it just stopped.
I know it's a little spendy, but that's to help. It's a fundraiser, you know, so.
Oh, okay. It's a fundraiser. I'm helping bail out a failing business. Well, then it's worth it. Okay. We'll just crowdfund your losses. That sounds like a great deal. Is this any clearer? Yeah, here we go. This is better than the video. You get 12 ounces of the tiger's blood, 12 ounces of the blackberry cream, 7 ounces of the Kona coffee, and then a coin and a hand-signed and numbered thank you card from Jeremy. I mean, seriously, if you purchase this, if you even have any interest in this, remove yourself from my channel, all right? Or at the very least, leave a comment saying that you'd be interested in it so I can ban you from YouTube. So many notes here. First off, who the F is asking for this? What percentage of TheQuartering's audience wants to buy coffee hygiene products? Seriously. Can this guy go a single month without begging his fans for money? No. In April, it was selling Trump cookbooks to fund a new studio for guests, which he then backed out of. In May, it was save my company by buying Mother's Day gift boxes. Now it's June and he's running a fundraiser to buy ingredients for a product he plans to sell for a profit. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying earlier, where he wants to socialize the losses or socialize the costs and then privatize all of the gains for himself. Is this supposed to be a real company or not? Jeremy, you are not a middle school baseball team buying new uniforms. Yeah, what he's doing here reminds me of when they have those not field trips, but the trips that are in high school where you like sell chocolate in order to raise money so you can go for your band class or whatever it is. I don't know. I never went to any of these, so I can't remember what they even do them for. But, they'll have like the bars of chocolate and you sell them for $1. And then usually there'll be a place in town where the kid that works there just sets up a box to try and sell it to all the customers. And most of the time people are like, oh, I'll help the kid out, have a trip to wherever it is. So I'll spend $1 on the chocolate or whatever. That's the way that TheQuartering is trying to run his business, except that business is even more legitimate because the kid that's selling chocolate bars is not begging and pleading. All right. They're just offering, hey, I have this product. Would you like to exchange money for it? And they pretty much keep it at that. Not Jeremy, though. Real companies don't run fundraisers so they can afford to stock products. They make products their customers want to sell them and recoup the money they spent developing and stocking said products. If there's a demand for coffee scrub, you'll make your money back plus profit. If there isn't, you shouldn't be making it in the first place. We aren't even 2 months removed from this company supposedly needing a bailout to not go completely out of business. Why are you expanding into new product lines if you need to beg your audience to buy the products you already sell? Exactly. And it's such an absurdly stupid product for him to be selling to his audience, right? The people that you sell a coffee facial scrub to, they look like me, all right? They don't look like TheQuartering or TheQuartering's fans, all right? And even I would not buy a coffee facial scrub from TheQuartering, all right? Even if I didn't hate him, if I was neutral towards the guy, I wouldn't buy it from him. I wouldn't buy it from any YouTuber. It's just a big markup. Jeremy last week. Guys, I hear you. Too much coffee shilling. I don't want to kill my channel, so I promise I will chill. Jeremy this week. Okay, guys, I have 3 new coffee products in stock. I need you to buy them over retail value in a $100 bundle, even though I admit this is overpriced and the last $100 bundle almost killed my coffee grift and channel. I promise I will use the money to add more products to my store, which I will then beg you to buy. Is this guy regarded? Support an American company that doesn't hate you. You are in the process of moving all your shipping to Amazon so you can hire less workers. You white label coffee that is brewed by a woke roaster that employs DEI hiring practices and celebrates Diversity and Pride Month on social. And by DEI hiring practices, I'm assuming they're referencing, what is this, Hannah Claire B and Melanie Mack, these co-hosts that he has. Like, I have literally never heard of this Hannah Claire B person outside of TheQuartering. Melanie Mack, I've heard of in the context of people hating on her. These people did not earn their positions on TheQuartering's channel, right? He just wants to be talking to women. That's the whole reason he has them there. Every day I question why this coffee company exists when I'm convinced he could just ask his viewers to give him money directly and they would probably do it. Oh wait, that's what he's doing too.
Melanie, I read that one. By the way, the super chats help out a ton, so thank you so much. The other way you can help is, like, if you're a YouTube viewer, you can become a member on YouTube, and that gives you a free super chat.
Oh, thanks for letting me know, Courtney. I'm always looking for opportunities to help out multimillionaires.
Every month, and that money goes directly to us. And anyway, also, how many of you went over to rumble.com/premium and used that promo code to get the free month or the other one for $20 off the year? I'm hoping that.
Remember, that's a direct reflection on how good Melanie.
Yeah, I'm going to pull the numbers today. And
so now he's pitting these women against each other, trying to get them to do commissions. When I worked at McDonald's in high school, they'd have there's 2 drive-thrus at most of them. They have the front drive-thru and the back drive-thru. At least that's what they're called internally. And then there's also the people at the front counter. And whoever could upsell the most cookies would get a free meal or something like that. That's what he's doing here. I mean, what? Why are we doing this, Matt? How is money that tight? They're like, oh, whoever can upsell the most 3 for $1 cookies gets a prize.
$20 off the year. I'm hoping that.
Remember, that's a direct reflection on how good Melanie.
Yeah, I'm going to pull the numbers today, and if Melanie and Hannah Claire can't move at least 100, like, that's shocking. I'll be shocked if it's less than 100.
Ooh.
But all things considered, like, we really do need, like, everyone else is rich. Crowder doesn't need it. Tim doesn't need it. We definitely do need it. And
everybody else is, bro, you're rich. What are you talking about? And the only way you could possibly not be rich is by being a complete and utter dope, right? So much money has come through your slippery, greasy hands. If you're not rich, you're an idiot and you've lost your opportunity as far as I'm concerned. All right? Give it to somebody else. Anybody. Pick somebody with 1,000 subscribers that's trying to make it reading politics news. All right? I don't care who it is. Just bless them with the algorithm and give them an opportunity and stop putting this guy in people's algorithm. Well, that's already happening, to be fair. His views are down quite a bit. But it needs to be even worse. Cut his views in half again and give that to somebody else.
We get half of that Rumble Premium subscription when you use our promo code. Or if you become a YouTube member, we get all of that. Or if you don't want to do Rumble Premium and you don't want to do YouTube member, you can still go to thequartering.com/join. And for $6, I added this now. So it's for $6, you get all the members' videos and the Discord and the discounts. Ooh. So that's a cheaper alternative that isn't tied to anybody.
How would that possibly be worth it to anybody? You're going to give your email directly to TheQuartering so he can send you annoying emails begging you to buy his coffee again so you can get into his Discord? What, so you can react with an emoji to the post where he says, hey guys, going live now? I mean, could you imagine a stupider use of your money? Yeah, for $6, I'm going to give TheQuartering my money so that I can see him post when he's going live.
And 100% of that goes to the cast and crew here. So I'm hoping that, you do one of those three things. The Rumble Premium one, you get no ads on Rumble. You get access to everyone else's premium. If you only care about supporting us, you can go to thequartering.com/join. Or you can become a YouTube member.
Why does he keep doing this? What's going on here?
Which is an amazing way also to support.
You have so many options to support us. Hooray.
Yeah, there's 3 different options that are about 5.
That's the sign of a truly great YouTuber. The more options to support them, the better they are at YouTubing.
$5 or $6 a month. That, if a couple hundred people do that, we get to pay our co-host. I wanted to talk about Melanie. That was I read.
If enough people do it, you get to. So are the co-hosts not being paid?
To support.
You have so many options to support us. Hooray.
Yeah, there's 3 different options that are about $5 or $6 a month. That, if a couple hundred people do that, we get to pay our co-host. I wanted to talk about.
What? So if you guys tip me enough, I might be able to pay my employees. What a bum. This guy unironically owns a Cessna plane. And here we go, another example. Guys, everyone else is rich, unlike me. I really need your money. Also, check out my brand new 7-foot-tall saltwater fish tank and $15,000 watch. And also, the thing is, I appreciate that he did this, that he covered up his feet, but I think he did it as in it's supposed to be a joke. Oh, yeah, guys, I'm not going to give out the feet pics for free. Well, no, the reason that he did it is because he doesn't want people to unfollow him on Twitter. Because if he had the dogs out like that, he would lose a quarter of his followers just right there. Like, why are you showing me this? I don't want gay prawn on my feed, Quartering. Get out of here. Oh, also, F you, my coffee company is super successful and I make tons of money. This is the sort of stuff he's doing while he's begging. This is not the only example of it. I've covered multiple videos of him doing the same sort of thing where he begs on his YouTube channel or Rumble, whatever platform you choose to watch him on. And then on Twitter, he's bragging about how rich he is. Already at 2K on my own website and another 1K on Amazon. And it's only 4 p.m. Should be 5K easy today, and we haven't even sent an email and have no current promotions. You losers want my coffee company to fail so bad it lives rent-free in your head. Yeah, well, you know what? The thing is, a lot of people think this is, oh, you're obsessed with me. All right, yeah, I'm obsessed with a lot of people. You know how you can tell? Is that I started doing a YouTube channel where I just talk about other people that I've never met that will almost certainly never notice me. Okay, you're not going to get anything over me. Oh, you're obsessed? Okay, fine. I'll be obsessed. That's totally okay with me. Oh, and that was in reply to somebody saying, bro averages less than $500 a day in gross sales. Show a refreshed screen video of the last 30 days Shopify dashboard, or I'm right. By my humble math, that's not 500 in sales, that's 6,000. And summer is slow. Get effed, loser. So he's saying, yeah, I'm making $6,000 a day. That's slow. But I need you guys to tip so I can pay my co-hosts. Here's Shopify only. And he's got, what, 20K sales in sessions? I'm not sure. Oh, 30 days? Maybe that's what that means. Total sales, $78,000. Here's 30 days on Amazon only. 3,000 or so orders and 93,000 in dollars sold. Okay. Ah, that's great, man. If your company is so successful, why are you begging all the time? Very pathetic. All right, you could do a reasonable plug. Guys, as you know, I have a coffee company. The link is blah blah blah, or you can buy it on Amazon. We appreciate any purchase that you make. Right? That's fine. Treat it like you basically would any other sponsor, and it wouldn't be so insufferable. But he acts like he's on the brink of collapsing and people are going to lose their jobs if you don't go and buy coffee from him. And then he brags about how rich he is on Twitter. It's wild to me that his fans don't put this stuff together. He's practically beating them over the head with it. The fundraiser ask wasn't even an hour before he was melting down on Twitter over how super successful his company is. Does this, and this is somebody else, drive-by comment said, does this effer have like Parkinson's? He moves in a weird manner. Has he always done that? Reminds me of Michael J. Fox. So I don't think we need to watch that video. I'm assuming he's talking about the same behavior I showed you in that video at the beginning here, where he does that shifty stuff. That popped up in the last year or two. His fans comment on it sometimes. He was on stream the other day grousing that his wife was trying to pick up some expensive prescription for him and his insurance didn't cover it. Wouldn't surprise me if he has sustained some permanent damage from years of alcohol and substance abuse. And this was, I was not really familiar with. I had heard that one time he got drunk on a live stream and was crying that his wife went out to get pizza without him, and then he peed in a drain in his basement or whatever. I had heard that before, but I didn't know he had like a sustained problem with alcohol. But I'll show some other stuff in here that mentions that. Fat Quarter Pounder has gout again. Update. Quartering has been crying about his foot for the past week. He initially claimed it was irritated because he had been exercising too much. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Now with Luke in town, the predictable truth comes out. Fat Pounder has gout again and can barely walk. This is especially funny because he's been claiming he's been getting more healthy, drinking less, and eating better lately. Which, in case you're not aware, gout is the king's disease, and it's called that because back in the day, kings would get this disease from just eating meat all day and drinking liquor. You know, obviously most people, pretty much nobody else in the world in those times could afford to do that. So it's the king's disease. And Quartering, eating like a king. Jeremy also let Dr. Dipshit Luke perform some of his quackery Rumble.com tier cures on the foot, which caused it to swell until it looked like an overcooked sausage that was about to explode. Have fun with that mental image. This left Quartering in intense pain all night and sent him immediately to seek out a real doctor. Yeah, Rumble Doctor is not really recommended, probably. Quartering has a yearly tradition of claiming he's going to lose significant weight, then failing. Basically, every year around New Year's, he goes into that. Then after his dad died last year, he claimed he got serious about it. Roughly a year later, and we keep getting updates every few months that he's down 10 pounds or he's down 15 pounds. Anytime somebody says they're down 10 or 15 pounds, that's how you know nothing's going on, right? Because 10 or 15 pounds on a big person, that's imperceptible. So they can say that and it's just fair. Plus, a big person can lose 10 or 15 pounds by just being busier for like a month or whatever. Maybe they don't have as much time to eat. That's all it takes, right? And they're just, a lot of them, they're just going to gain it all back and then. So it means literally nothing when a giant person like the Quartering says, oh yeah, I'm down like 10 or 15 pounds. Okay. All right, that actually means zero. But I suspect this is just him yo-yoing the same 3% of his body weight over and over again. Exactly. He admits the current gout bout is related to him binge drinking and eating crappy food all holiday weekend, and says he gets it at least twice every year. How does that not, like, it genuinely is referred to as the king's disease. It doesn't hit you that, wow, I am actually eating so much meat and drinking so much, I've gotten a disease from when the king was the only guy in the entire country who wasn't starving to death. Do I need to change anything? No, no, no. I'll keep eating as if I'm the only person with money in the entire country. More interesting, however, is he contacted his doctor for a prescription, and he's basically been cut off on painkillers. Corden had infamous clips where he was discussing pill popping with, I think, ᴰᴰᴵᴜᴜᴜ, and again over on his now dead podcast with Baring and Count Dankula, where he admitted he would try to pry 30 counts of pills from his doctor on every visit, and the bitch wouldn't give them to him. Then he went on to say that when he did manage to get them, he would tough out the pain so he could pop pills later while drinking. He recently admitted his problem with abusing pain pills in the past. I mean, how shameless can this be? I don't understand how, as a conservative, you can follow this guy. He's like, oh, yeah, look. Or really, I just don't, how do you follow a politics guy of any variant who's like this? It's the same sort of thing with Destiny. All right, I don't have a problem. You want to do drugs recreationally or whatever, go for it. But then if you are actually addicted to this stuff, don't start telling people how their country should be ran or what their morals should be or any of that sort of stuff. All right? If you want to be an addict and keep your morals and laws for humans to yourself. Funny thing about doctors, they are trained to take notice of behavior like this and will add notes to your records if you are a little too persistent with constantly begging for full bottles of painkillers for an issue that typically resolves in several days, reminding them to never give them to your fiending ass ever again. So it seems like Quartering's doctor will no longer give him pills even when he is in pain and brings up his obvious past addiction when he asks about them, and he's a tad salty about it. He admits he really wants the Vicodin, but seems resigned to the fact bitch doctor won't give them to him. I don't understand this sort of thing. Like, how are you not afraid of the prescription stuff? Doesn't that freak you out? It's been formulated to do things to your body, right? Even if it is a situation where you genuinely need it, you should do it very sparingly. All right, I got a wisdom tooth removed years ago, and the dentist gave me a prescription for, I think it was Vicodin, some painkiller. It's like, I'm not fulfilling that prescription, right? If I'm unable to move from the pain or something, then maybe I'll go fill it out. Otherwise, I'll stick with some ibuprofen, and I'm not tempting fate, all right? Because drugs are fun, they're enjoyable. So I don't want to do any of these amazing ones, right? So I'm not gonna try heroin because that's probably way too good, and almost certainly I'm gonna want to do it again, right? Stick with the low level. Stick with caffeine, grass, kratom, that sort of stuff. Nicotine, obviously within moderation. You probably shouldn't be doing all of those or whatever, but pick your one of choice and stick with those.
So that's what I'm pitching. It all kind of depends on if my doctor comes through.
You can beat gout. You can do it.
They're weird about the prescription.
Well, it doesn't sound like he can beat gout. Of course, I'm just taking Return of the Mac and Cheese at face value, but he says this guy has a bout of gout once or twice every year. All right? If his dad died, I'm assuming from some weight-related complications, the way that I was brought up there, maybe not. But the fact that the Quartering's dad dies and he's like, oh, now I need to take my health seriously, seems like probably was something like that. So even when his dad dies, he's like, well, I should take it more seriously. Am I actually going to? No, no. So if your dad dies and that's not enough for you to stop eating like a king, you're not going to stop. He's not going to beat it. There's no way. What would it take? Right? His wife and children? I don't think he has children. Oh yeah, that's another way that he's a fake conservative. There's no children. He's in his 40s. No kids.
You can beat gout. You can do it.
They're weird about the prescriptions. Like, I don't even want an opioid pain reliever. I just want the thing that works. Like, usually they give you Vicodin with it and they get all weird. Like, oh, I don't want to give you a Vicodin. You're an addict. Well, that's what I said. Well, how I want it.
Why would a doctor say that? Oh, I don't want to give you that. You're an addict. I mean, if a doctor's saying that for no reason, they are not basing that on anything, I don't think that doctor's going to keep their job very long, right? If they're being that unprofessional, I think they're going to get reported for something and lose their license. All right? They probably have a reason to believe that. Like maybe if you were on stream talking to ᴰᴰᴵᴜᴜᴜ and he said, yeah, sometimes I like to just tough it through the pain. So then when I feel better, I can pop the pain pills and drink.
Bad, but like I know that the colchicine works. I'm like I'd rather, I don't want to slow it up. I'm like, just give me the colchicine. I'll be in pain for the 3 days until it goes away. Because if I'm like, oh, I want the Vicodin too, then they're always like, oh, well, I don't know. You've had Vicodin twice in 2 years. You're probably an addict. So you've got to come in and have an appointment and all this. I'm like, I can't even walk. Like, just.
Don't you hate it when the doctors look out for you like that? You know, you've gotten an abnormal number of Vicodin prescriptions in the last couple of years. Seems like maybe you're chasing for that. Maybe you're looking for it. I remember a buddy of mine, he was trying to get an Adderall prescription, and he went in, and I think he was trying to make it seem like he has ADHD or whatever, but he slipped up and made it very obvious that that's what he was going for, and the doctor's like, no, I'm not going to give that to you. You're clearly fiending for it. You clearly want this Adderall prescription, so you're not going to get it. And the quarter is probably doing the same thing.
You know, you're going to make me come in.
Oh, I can't stand it when a doctor's looking out for my health. All right, just give me the drugs. That's clearly what you're there for. Newest quartering video. YouTube will apparently remove monetization from various slop videos, including low-effort content. The quartering? Uh-oh. What does that mean?
It says, starting July 15th, YouTube will only pay creators who use their real voice and produce original content. The following will not be eligible for monetization. Reused or repurposed videos, copied content, that seems the same to me, low effort uploads, Well, one thing that's concerning is, what does low effort content? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna say it's completely baseless to be worried about that. You know, maybe YouTube could go overboard, but the thing is, a lot of people enjoy the type of content that people like the quartering do, or people that do content similar to what I do. You know, the Chud Logics of the world or whatever. Because a better example is like ᴰᴬᴵᴵᴜᴶ or something like that, or Ludwig, right? They do content that's on the same effort level as the quartering or whatever. So I don't think they're going after people like that. This seems mostly like they want to go after the AI stuff, and you're stealing people's videos and re-uploading them. Of course, it could go wrong, but just reading that, to me, it sounds good, right? I don't want YouTube paying a bunch of AI generated, AI narrated slop videos, because then that means they have less money to pay other people. They're going to get worse ad rates and stuff like that. And I would rather it go to actual humans who are making videos. Maybe I'll regret that, and they will demonetize or stop paying out people who do content of the effort level of the quartering and myself, stuff like that. I don't think that's what they're going for, because a lot of people watch that sort of content. Right? I would think they're going at the stuff that's like marketed to get kids to click on it super easily, and that sort of stuff. This video also yields a new quality quartering reaction shot. I think that's what I used for the opener, right? Yes, beautiful shot. Don't worry, Jeremy. YouTube doesn't actually moderate anything anymore until it has millions of views, as you've clearly noticed. I'm sure your channel will continue to slip under their radar, like it always has. Speaking of low-effort content, Quartering's channel views are up slightly, but he continues to be in a rut, so it looks like he's trying out new things. Today, he removed his face from all thumbnails. Probably a good idea. I mean, if you knew nothing of this man, would you click this thumbnail? And look at the face he's making here. It's just awful. He looks bored out of his mind. Like, oh. Is he actually supposed to be fatigued here in this thumbnail? I can kind of get what he's going for if that's what it is, but why would I want to click on a video where the host is that bored? No, don't thank you. I'll look for a more energetic host. No new deep dive videos since the last one flopped. It was his lowest viewed video last week. Instead, it looks like this week he's trying long form reactions to viral videos. This one is kind of unique to his current channel direction in that it's white on white violence. Typically, when he covers viral videos like this, it comes with an agenda plus rant on how minorities are inherently violent. Race baiting has been his bread and butter recently, with news being so slow, at least news that fits his agenda being slow. He's gone down this path before with mixed results, but I think him revisiting this kind of content speaks to an increasing desperation to find a new direction for his channel and again seek normie viewers. He hasn't added any new subs since mid-March. his typical videos on woke media and YouTube drama have been falling flat as well. Dude, the most incredible golf video ever. Why would you click on a video like that from TheQuartering? What expertise does he have on golf? Coffee Grift update. Breaking: Amazon first day traffic for Amazon Prime Day is down 41% per Bloomberg. TheQuartering replies, people already have enough crap. Yeah, no. I don't want to hear you guys complaining that you can't buy things, right? But I will show my 7-foot aquarium and my racetrack for remote control cars that I have and talk about how rich I am. But you don't need to buy any more crap. Seems like this also applies to coffee, as quartering sales on Amazon have reached all-time lows. Green is the sales rank line. Lower equals better. Let's see, what's this one here first? 639 sales in the last period. 30-day average, 697. I'm not sure what we're comparing this to, but we're just going to say he's doing terrible. He's failing. Business collapsing. Green here. Okay, and if it's lower, it's better, but it's been slowly climbing up there. Okay. Again, failing. I don't know how much I'm really going to take from these. I'm not exactly sure even what's being measured here, but I'm just going to take the return of the mac and cheese at face value and say he's failing. Business is failing. That's good enough for me. So he is currently selling about 1,270 units a month, or about 40-ish a day. His actual sales are about 750 a day. The other month, when he posted sales stats, it still had all the 1,200 or so Mother's Day gift boxes marked down to 50 after he failed to sell them. So those inflated his monthly sales stats, but he didn't actually make much profit off that. And according to him, he actually took a loss on each $50 box, though that's debatable since he lies so much. Yeah, originally he was selling those boxes for $100, and it's not the same one that I showed you at the beginning of this, but it's similar level of value. It was like maybe 2 or 3 coffees, and then you get like some yogurt pretzels and honey sticks or something, like just a garbage value. And one person gave him a 1-star review and said that it was a bad value, and they gave a very in-depth review, and they said it was pretty entertaining, actually. I've also done a video on that, so if you like hating on TheQuartering, you should go back and watch that one. But he loses his mind over this 1-star review that seems authentic. Of course, it could be fake, because it wasn't a verified purchase, but the person in the review offers a very reasonable explanation for that, and they say, well, my brother said that he would buy the Mother's Day gift this year, and then we could just say it's from both of us, you Venmo me half or whatever. So then that brother buys the $100 gift box, and the other sibling who left the review, they see what's in it. They're like, this is a terrible value. Why did you get this? And then eventually they find out it's from TheQuartering, and then they make a review like, this is awful value. And they didn't even say anything like everything in there is crap or whatever. Obviously, they didn't try the stuff, but their whole point was just that it was a bad value. And TheQuartering loses his mind, again, acts like he's being attacked. And really, what he ended up doing is just drawing attention to this negative review. And you know what happened within days of him uploading that video? He got multiple other 1-star reviews that were clearly fake. Those were also unverified purchases, and they were like 1-sentence long reviews. They just said bad. I think one of them literally just said bad value, and the other one was like a full sentence or so, but they seemed pretty fake, and pretty much all of his other purchases were verified. So all he did by melting down and crying about that was convince other people that they should go and give him 1-star reviews because it clearly bothered him. Here's 30 days on Amazon only. I think we saw that earlier, but 3,000 units and some change and 93K. This would make the average unit ordered around $27, and all his coffee products at the time were between $16 and $19. So clearly the math doesn't math if you just assume regular coffee sales until you factor in 1,000 plus Mother's Day boxes on top at $50 a piece. With that math and excluding the gift boxes, it would put him down about 50% in Amazon coffee sales since then. So it's clear why he's pushing the fundraiser for a coffee scrub product that no one wants and he will likely never produce. All in all, he still has a grift that anyone who didn't come to view their audience as a personal ATM machine would be more than happy with. But he's definitely come to expect a level of pay pigging that most could only dream of and continues to bleed his fans dry constantly. Current featured grifts, $100 coffee fundraiser package, pay me $6 a month to join my Discord, Rumble Premium. Quartering is currently somewhere in downtown Milwaukee, face to face with the mouth breathers who fork over cash to him. He made an exclusive video to pitch this, his first piece of Rumble Premium content in over 2 weeks, since he made a video throwing a frisbee to his dogs in his backyard. Compelling stuff. Yeah, so 16 days ago, he did a video where he's playing with his dogs, and then he announces his meet and greet. Reminder, consistent exclusive content updates were the key selling point to his Rumble Premium pitch. Also, part of that pitch was apologizing to those who fell for that pitch before on his quartering.com website where he had stopped uploading content for the past 4 months. No, guys, don't worry, having this all on Rumble will make it easier for me to keep all that content in one place. That's the reason I didn't update the content on my own website, not because I stopped giving a shit as soon as everyone forked over their money. So, yeah, this is supposed to be one of the main, if not the main selling point for why you would subscribe to his Rumble Premium. And he's uploading a video where he plays with his dog and announcing a meet and greet. Not even 10 minutes in a little over 2 weeks. What a worthless use of our money. So here, Return of the Mac and Cheese says, he's gone through phases. For a long time, he was clearly drunk in most of his videos. A few years ago, he went through a phase where he seemed to be mixing Xanax and or opiates with alcohol, peaking around the time Elon was buying Twitter, and he was stirring up Eliza Blue drama. There was a period after that where I pulled it together somewhat, at least on camera, but now he's back to drunk streaming on slow days. He's on record saying he used to have a problem with pain pills and that he abuses them whenever he can pry them from his doctor. He also has regularly talked about his Xanax prescription, which he always carries in his pocket as an emergency escape when he's having anxiety. Just given his abuse of every other substance, it's very hard to believe he doesn't abuse those. Xanax is crazy. I don't know what you have going on in your life that you would do Xanax. Growing up, I listened to a lot of the now defunct radio show Ron and Fez, and the reason I found that show so engaging is because it went from being a pretty funny, lighthearted radio show to a psychological horror. Because Fez, the second co-host, he was like a repressed, closeted gay at first, and he did a gay character, and then eventually he realized he's actually gay, and it messed with his head a bunch, that realization. He has like a religious family and all of that, and then he moves from the town that they lived in forever, so he doesn't see a bunch of his friends that he had, and then he starts going to a psychiatrist and a therapist, and they subscribe him a bunch of different drugs. One of those is Xanax, and you just see it turned him into basically a mute. They would do compilations of the show where it's everything that Fez said in the day, and they would do a 3-hour show every day, or every weekday. And regularly, it would be less than 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of him talking, because that's what the Xanax did to him. So, no, you need to be in a real, real bad state if you're going to try risking it with Xanax. Not worth it. Just given his abuse of every other substance, it's very hard to believe he doesn't abuse those. The speed thing is kind of recent, though, sometime in the past 2 years, growing more noticeable over time. A lot of his audience has commented how jerky he is as of the past 18-ish months, and the way he talks and his overall mannerisms have changed significantly. His pupils regularly look very dilated, and he has a lot of tics and stereotypes that suggest amphetamine abuse. If you go back to a video of Hambly from 3 years ago and compare it to a recent one, it's pretty jarring. At first, I thought the tics were some kind of side effect to a medicine he was taking for another condition, but given what I've seen since, it seems he got his hands on some Adderall or similar substance. So obviously we don't have much of any evidence for this, but this thing that he does, it does seem like he's on something. That is not normal to be doing that, especially at his age. If that was a social anxiety something or whatever, like, you should be able to get over that by the time you're into your 40s, especially how long he's been doing YouTube. Like, why do you have so much social anxiety that you'd be doing that? I don't believe that. It seems like it's from drugs. I remember a TISM episode, and this is ᴰᴵᴱᴜ replying to that. I remember a TISM episode where they were joking about going through a bottle of pain pills in a few days. That is classic Jeremy. As for the Adderall, I swear he's had a script for a few years. Again, TISM streams. There is a lot of nuggets in those because he feels he's safe with Dank and Baring and just says a lot of incriminating stuff. If it's over the past 18 months, though, I'd imagine he's ramped up any abuse that's already been happening. He's such a druggie. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so here is more of him being rich and bragging about how rich he is, even though he begs for bailouts all the time. More on the post-extinction level event spending spree. The other day, during his meltdown about getting called out for fleecing his pay pigs, then turning around and building an RC car track in his yard, he assured everyone questioning how this fits in with the narrative he spun about massive debt and failing business to sell his coffee that the haters are mad because he was digging in his backyard, implying this was a small project he would be doing himself that would not cost any real amount of money. In that video, where he's asking for the bailout to buy the Keurig machine. I think it was in that video. If not, it's in another one that he did recently, begging for money. But he mentions he spent like $30,000 on his credit card. So that means he doesn't have any other lines of credit that he uses, and he has to use a line of credit through his credit card that has like 25-30% interest rate. The dude spends like crazy. And it makes sense that people would say his business is failing. Why would you have to resort to spending $30,000 on your credit card if the business was doing well? If the business was doing well and was self-sustaining, you could get a loan at a much, much better rate than that, and you wouldn't have to beg your audience for money all of the time. It makes a lot of sense for people to say that the business is failing, all right? And I'm not even saying I'm not a hater, all right? I'm clearly a hater. But also, there's a lot that suggests the business is actually failing. He deleted all his meltdown tweets yesterday, along with the initial RC track tweet he was getting hate in, so those replies are gone. Later, we get the truth. Oh, and I forgot to mention here, so he says people are mad that he's digging in his backyard. Does anybody believe that TheQuartering is going to be digging? Look at this, the size of this course here. You really think TheQuartering is going to dig all of this out? I mean, this would be like if I dug up the Mariana Trench, right? That's the equivalent of TheQuartering doing this much work. There's just no way. Note that is a 40-foot shipping container, making the total layout 120 by 100 feet, using that as a scale, which means this is a rough estimate around 750 feet of track. The idea that this is a small project and Quarter Ton is going to be out there doing this himself is laughable. He isn't even doing the minor installation work on the shipping container. So yeah, obviously it's going to cost money. There's no way in the world that he's doing this himself. Installing some solar vents and lights into my Connex shipping container. It needs railings around the top so people don't spill over. Is there some company that does this affordably? Showing that he's not even doing that himself. Hard to even estimate how much he will spend on this project, but it will easily be thousands of dollars, even assuming he already owned that shipping container. Can't wait to see the finished product that his pay pigs financed by bailing him out. And back in the day, these shipping containers used to be fairly affordable. Remember when you first saw people making shipping container houses, you could get a decent deal on those. That's not the case anymore. That became such a trend. They're pretty expensive to get those shipping containers now. I'm curious if he will try to use this to revive his dead RC car channel again, which, if you're not familiar, he had an RC car channel where he would review the RC cars, and these are not like Walmart RC cars. These are $1,000+ remote control cars that he's getting. I didn't even know it was a thing until I heard about TheQuartering doing this. I thought anytime you're talking about a remote control car, it's, the stuff you buy for your nephew's birthday. But no, because there are man children like TheQuartering that think, oh yeah, no, I'll spend $1,000+ on a remote control car. That seems like a good use of my money. And even more curious if he incorporates that into his other LLC and writes off his toys as business expenses, though we'll never get that info. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does. My understanding is if you're writing off something like that as a business expense, you're not allowed to also use it for personal recreation. If you're going to write something off as a business expense, it has to be just for your business. If you use it, if it's something that you also would have bought for yourself recreationally and you use it recreationally, well, then it's not a business expense, right? Now, that's not to say everybody who does that is going to get caught by the IRS and get in big trouble, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I think a lot of these YouTubers, when they say they write this stuff out, they should not be allowed to write this stuff off. Okay, so Mordecai Three Finger says, is there anything known about his wife that makes her independently unlikable besides fucking or not Hambly for decades? Admittedly, I haven't read most of the thread going back to 2018. She wasn't mentioned in the OP from what I could tell. I took a still of her and posted it here from their almost 10-year-old Claw channel intro. She looked normal and thin. I think I have this here. I think this is this photo here. Or she looks fairly normal. Hambly got her out of bed a few years back before Rekieta's crash out to shave off his beard on Baldo's stream after that audience ordered 1K, maybe 10K worth of coffee. Oh, maybe 1,000 units or 10K dollar amount. Again, she looked not fat and too good for him. What little I know about her. They've been together since high school or early college. She's an amateur pilot, and they recently had her plane for sale. And this is almost always a bad sign. They've been together since high school or early college. Sometimes, sure, that works out. Most of the time, the guy is terrible. You know, maybe even abusive or whatever, but most of the time, just awful, just a waste of space. And the woman could do so much better, but she has no idea because she's been with him since high school or college. I would say probably 90% of the high school or college sweetheart marriages should end it. All right, and the woman could go off and be much happier, and all of the men can look like TheQuartering, but even worse and sadder. At one time, she had her own career, phlebotomist, medical lab technician, that she subsequently gave up to be a stay-at-home wife when Hambly got rich. Not even stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife. She seems to do the trad wife stuff around the house, washing his skivvies, etc. She doesn't seem to mind Hambly working 24/7 or never going on vacations before their week in Hawaii this spring. As much as we can tell, she doesn't seem threatened by Hambly's personal assistant Maggie, who lives locally and works directly out of their own home. Maggie gets mentioned by Jeremy on air more than his wife, which I don't recall her name. His wife seems to have done a decent job staying offline. And so I think, yeah, this is the Return of the Mac and Cheese replies to Mordecai and says, they've been together since high school. By his account, she is willfully ignorant of all the stuff Jeremy does in the basement, as long as the money keeps coming, but seems to generally agree with his views, as long as he doesn't interrupt her TV shows with anti-woke brain rot. He's posted pictures of her in a MAGA hat before, and made other comments indicating that she is generally conservative. She seems to be on the tradwife thing because Quartering does post a lot of elaborate meals she cooks during holidays, and claims he has her do all the chores while he makes all the money. He has gone on long dialogues about how when she was working, she would come home whining about her coworkers, and he didn't care and is happier now that she just stays home all day. Quartering also claims his wife is a normie. At one point, she had a small online abandoned presence, but while he was trolling the magic nerds in his pre-Quartering phase, they contacted his wife via snail mail. She was extremely pissed shortly after, but he wormed his way out of it behind the scenes. All her social media disappeared after, and Quartering set up a mail service to open his mail before it arrives at his house, so no one could contact her again and tell her he is sexually harassing women online. I don't think it's confirmed the plane is for sale. I think someone in this thread just assumed that because of registration issues they saw with it or something. Okay, I'm glad he said that here, because I thought I read that somewhere else, and I forgot to say that that might not be the case when I read Mordecai's post. All in all, his wife is pretty inconsequential to his story, except that she's likely the main regulating factor in his life. As he has said many times in the past, she tries to get him to stop drinking himself to death. I doubt she'll ever leave unless the money runs out and he spirals. It's, to me, super weird that TheQuartering is saying his wife is a normie, as if he's not a normie, but the main thing he was saying about his wife before she stopped working was that, oh, she gets home from work and she whines my ear off. I mean, is that not one of the most normie things you've ever? Oh, my bitch wife, always nagging. Okay, you say something like that, Courtney, you're a normie also. all right? Not that it matters, but if you're going to call other people normies, you can't be doing stuff like that. Dear Kiwi Farms, stop calling out quartering for grifting and lying to his audience, or you are nothing but a poor F-slur. Stop being a poor F-slur, he says in reply to, please help, I'm about to go bankrupt. Hey, check out my 40K Cybertruck upgrades. Please buy my $100 Coffee Mom Day stuff. The left is attacking me. I have to lay everyone off. So that bothered him. He's like, oh, you're gonna critique the things that I do? Well, you must be a poor F-slur. You couldn't actually have an issue with the things that I do, with the way that I beg and plead for money and then brag about how much money I have. There's no way you could have a legitimate issue with me doing that. You're just a poor F-slur. That's the only way that you could have the desire to say any of those things. Related, Quartering admits he is now collecting watches and has spent at least $10K on a single watch. Then he catches strays from resident ditzy dumb Melanie Mack, who is too stupid to realize how savagely she just roasted the quarter pounder.
Like I've become kind of a watch guy, not like the crazy $100,000 watch people, but like, you know, you buy a watch for maybe 10 grand, you could wear it, you could probably still sell it for like 6 or 7 grand if you buy like the right kind of watches. So
imagine oh, you know what? This is a reasonable purchase because it might only lose 40% of its value. Okay, that's true of like a coffee machine too, or video games. Right? Lots of things only lose like 40% of their value used, right? Obviously, not everybody wants to buy something used, but you find the right person to sell it to. Yeah, you probably get 60% of what you paid for just about anything other than food. But somehow in the Quartering's head, oh, but no, this is a smart investment that I'm making. All right, look, if you're rich and you want to spend money on watches, you want to spend tens of thousands of dollars on it, I mean, go for it. The only way that makes any sense, though, is if you are a multi-millionaire, all right? Personally, I think it's a little bit weird to be spending $10,000 on an accessory as a man, especially a conservative man. To me, that seems like pretty feminine coded behavior to be spending tens of thousands of dollars on accessories. But, you know, a lot of guys seem to be into that. Not Quartering. Well, yes, Quartering, but I was going to say ᴬᴰᴰᴵᴜ also. He just got exposed for doing that. And he does the same sort of thing where he's like, oh, I'm just a regular guy. You know, I'm pretty frugal. I don't waste my money on stuff. Pretending he's a normal, not insanely rich guy, but then spending tens of thousands of dollars on an accessory.
You could wear it, you could probably still sell it for like 6 or 7 grand if you buy like the right kind of watches. So in that way, at least there's some value in it. But,
man, I think when it comes to like these watches or handbags and all this stuff, it's just like rich people. It's consumerism for rich people to have something to be excited about, because it's like, is it really worth $10,000? No, but it gives rich people something to be excited about buying.
And Quartering just agrees with that. He doesn't even have anything to refute that. He's just like, yeah, no, it is just something for me to feel good about. Just keeping up with the Joneses. Just mindless consumerism for people who make more than the average person. But then he wants to say, oh, no, you don't need to buy the new console. You know, that's just a want. That's not a need. And you don't deserve any of your wants. You should just spend your whole life toiling away for nothing but your needs. Me, though, I'm going to spend $10,000 on a watch. So I can accessorize. He's also considering selling his Cybertruck he just bought not even a year ago. If you follow current events, the Cybertruck famously has one of the worst resale values ever and loses something like 25% of its value in the first year you own it. Okay, well, the Quartering thinks if something loses 40% of its value, that's a good investment. So to totally own the libs, Jeremy bought a crappy and totally impractical vehicle, dumped a bunch of money into aftermarket customizations, then probably realized that it is not a viable truck for Wisconsin weather, which really is idiotic, all right? I'm from Minnesota, and lots of people drive trucks there. I don't know, maybe a Cybertruck is four-wheel drive, but you want to get a good four-wheel drive truck, because the roads they will be absolutely awful every single winter. Like, if you're gonna get a truck, get a solid four-wheel drive truck. Libs owned again. At any rate, Jeremy is now tired of his new truck he probably viewed as a full-sized RC toy and is ready to burn many thousands of dollars trading the gimmick car he barely drove for an RV he will definitely never use. Come on, Quartering, with your 400-pound ass spending money like water. You're not going to sleep in a hotel when you travel? Get real. Yeah, the Quartering is not a person I can see camping, even if you consider a camper or an RV camping. You know, definitely, I could never imagine this guy in a tent camping. No, he's far too soft for that. True story, he had to buy a bidet because he's too fat to properly wipe his ass.
But I think, like, I was really thinking about it last night with the RV because I was like, man, like, I was thinking about selling my Cybertruck and, like, just getting a smaller RV that, like, big enough that you could take the dogs and that there's a shitter in there and, like, a bed. Not one of those super...
what's you don't want to be shitting in the buckets.
So, yeah, this is the guy that's begging for money, and then he's like, yeah, I can just lose thousands of dollars on my Cybertruck and then buy an RV. But please, guys, I need to fundraise so that I can sell you a coffee facial scrub. Related Cybertruck tweet from Maximum Irony. He just received the vehicle between late August and early September of last year. The Cybertruck was meant for 24's Elon Musk. Huge customization in progress. I'll show it in 2 weeks. No regrets. I love this truck. And yet he's already selling. He said that March 26, 2025. And then he's talking about selling it May 28th. Obviously not exactly that day, but that's when it was posted. Quartering finally addresses the casino slander, meaning Kino Casino. As funny as this would be, Quartering is a huge pussy and will never actually agree to go live on Kino Casino. So Claude Frog 79 says, at Kino Casino Clips did a nice video on you. You should check it out. Quartering says, the only guy fatter than me on the internet and a burnt out cokehead said I'm wrong? Well, I don't want to be right then. By the way, I'm happy to join these two clowns any night on a stream. I mean, what a weak comeback. So he says, oh, I'm the second fattest guy on the internet, and then he calls Worski a cokehead. Well, he's on stream talking about how he can't get Vicodin or whatever it was from his doctor because the doctor thinks he's an addict. Okay? At least Worski is supposedly clean now. He's sober. You're currently fiending for Vicodin. And you're the second fattest guy on the internet. Wow, what a great own, Jeremy. Also, I'm not even sure if I believe that. He might be fatter than PPP. All right, it could be either way. I'm not positive. But I definitely would not be surprised if the Quartering was fatter than PPP.
I guess.
What was that? Okay, one of the videos must not have finished. Those where I just heard some unpleasant woman chuckle in my ear. That's exactly the thing about this guy. It's pretty obvious that, like everyone, he has deeply held prejudices towards anyone he doesn't consider to be in his in-group, but as a public figure, he has to pretend to not have these prejudices so that narrative can't be used against him, which is pretty typical for your average lefty liberal light, which makes his fake right-wing grift even more disingenuous and regarded. Because ultimately, what he cares about is money. He doesn't have genuine political beliefs. He doesn't have genuine religious beliefs. He doesn't have genuine morals. Yeah, you can tell. He's in his 40s, doesn't have any kids. Right? If he's a religious conservative guy, right, you'd be having kids, right? You'd be furthering the white race, surely. But no, the white race is going to die out because of people like you, Quartering, all right? He doesn't have genuine morals. If he's honest about his prejudices in his mind, which is stuck in a no longer existing set of past circumstances, his channel would be canceled for being right-wing like they used to, for example, on old Twitter. So instead of doing that, he thinks he can lie to settle into a niche where he can attract moderates on both sides and keep that sweet, sweet money rolling in. I bet he's gaslit himself into thinking he's telling a noble lie that is bringing people on differing sides together on the side of common sense, which is how he continuously justifying this objectively despicable and reprehensible behavior. I don't think the Quartering is convincing himself of anything. I think he knows it's a grift. He's fully aware of that. But maybe. And that was Quarter Grifter that said that. And Return of the Mac and Cheese replies and says, the funniest part of this whole blacks ruined Walmart rant that I forgot about until now, ᴬᴰᴰᴵᴜᴜ is on stream screeching about the minorities, shitting up the local Walmart that used to be so clean and nice, but now they showed up and it's gross. The thing is, he literally shit his fucking cargo shorts at that same Walmart, then left a trail of liquid shit dripping down his legs and onto the aisles all the way to the bathroom, where he attempted to clean the shit off with a paper towel and threw his shitty underwear in the garbage, leaving the entire store a biohazard situation. He then got yelled at by his wife for getting shit on her car seats, so he definitely left the store still covered in feces. And this is the guy saying that the blacks ruined his Walmart. The guy who is literally walking about the place dripping in poop. So much so that by the time he gets back to his car, he's still dripping. And his wife is like, "What? You ruined the seats. What are you doing?" But he's going to tell people how they should live their lives. You know what, dude? Maybe you're doing a little bit too much of eating nothing but meat and drinking alcohol, if that's how your number twos come out. ᴬᴰᴵᴜᴵ is definitely one of the subhuman garbage people who you don't want inside your local store or restaurant or sitting near you in public, and he doesn't even recognize that. How many people do you think stumbled upon his liquid shit in the aisles or the mess he made in the bathroom and decided to never return to that location? The clips of him talking about how he pre-games a trip out of the house with a preventative dose of anti-diarrhea medicine tells the story that the shark that ruined Walmart was not an isolated incident. So, well, maybe that is the case, and this is a regular thing that he wears. He also could just be so scarred and filled with anxiety that all it took was this one time, and now he has to take a preventative dose of anti-diarrhea medicine anytime that he goes out because he's just absolutely terrified of pooping his pants again. He's so fat he can't properly wipe and says a bidet changed his entire life and that he misses it more than his wife when he leaves town. He's so fat he can't buckle the seatbelts on an airplane without an extender, but is too in denial about his extreme obesity to buy a second seat. Just imagine going about your life, then you are forced to exist in close proximity to this sack of filth in public, while you are trying to share an ice cream with your girlfriend, or sit next to him on a plane ride, or stand close to him at a concert as he takes up 50% of your personal space. Look at how filthy his hat is. I just love how petty this one is. It's great. Can you imagine the smell that must come off this guy on a hot day? Can you imagine going to eat and touching something at a restaurant that he put his grimy fingers on after touching that cum-stained hat? Again, just absolute zero self-awareness from the quarter-ton shark machine. I feel really like his particular personal racism stems from his own inferiority. He feels like he can point at dark people and say they aren't one of us and put himself in the us group by default, because without that, he has to look at all the hardworking white people around him in his rural town who aren't morbidly obese, have normal lives, work hard, maybe have kids, and don't spend their entire lives on the internet, surrounded by boxes of children's toys they purchased at age 40, then comes to term with the fact he's actually not one of us. Which, I think that's a decent theory. Is, you probably heard before. It's like, oh no, the elites, they want to pit the white people against the other races, so then they can say, oh no, I'm better than you, and feel good about themselves, so then they don't revolt or whatever. And the ᴬᴰᴵᴜᴵ is one of the guys, he actually fell for that. He's like, you know what? I am better than all of those people. It doesn't matter that I poop my pants and leave a trail of poop throughout the Walmart and ruin the seats of my car or my wife's car. I'm still better than all of those black people, all right? Just the way they exist is worse than a man who poops his pants at 40 and leaves a trail of it throughout Walmart. Somehow, that guy has it better, or has it in his head that he's better than anybody else. All right, so here, these pretty much unsubstantiated, but Hillary Crowder, Steven Crowder's ex, says, if you had children, you would understand it's important for parents to have the same last name as their children. Also, it is my understanding your wife divorced you years ago, but you still pretend to be married with your audience. That seems very deceptive. And ᴬᴰᴵᴜᴵ replies, pretty libelous thing to claim there, Steven Crowder's ex. A wild, untrue claim like this will cause my business great financial harm. remind me, how much did you get in the divorce? Totally unrelated. I don't understand how this became such a thing. It's very depressing to me. The way like H3 is doing all of these lawsuits, and people are, oh yeah, that's based. Just because they're so obsessed with hating Hassan and Hassan bad. And I'm not even saying this to defend Hassan, all right? I don't like Hassan either, but the way people complain about him so much is kind of like the Billy Mitchell thing, where Billy Mitchell was the butt of the joke for so, oh, he's a cheater and all this sort of stuff. So then when he owned Carl Jobs, it's like, yes, he's based. Billy Mitchell is based. We love Billy Mitchell, sort of ironically, just because this is so sick of hearing all the Reddit people say how bad Billy Mitchell is. Oh wow, really? He supposedly cheated in Donkey Kong. His joystick was the wrong color. Wow, let's talk about how bad he is forever and ever. And that's how I feel about the people talking about Hassan at this point. But apparently, so many people on the internet don't feel that way. And so when Ethan says, I'm just going to start suing people like Denims and Frogan for reacting to my video in a way that's not satisfactory to me, they all clap like seals. It's just so dumb, especially because I think Denims and Frogan were in that video. So the idea that they would not be allowed to react to that to me is completely ridiculous. So Ethan can make a video talking crap about people, but then they watch the video and they don't react in a way that's satisfactory to him. So then he's going to start suing them, and everybody just claps for it. It disgusts me. And now you have people like TheQuartering be like, oh, you said I'm divorced? Let me talk to my lawyer. It's like, okay, really? Why don't you know what you should do? You should tattle to your mom. That would be even cooler if you did that, Quartering. Someone sent me all the private DM chats with Hillary Crowder, Steven Crowder's ex, and just about every single female conservative YouTuber personality you would know. It's mind-blowing how these women and some men all groveling, fighting for her money. This is nuts. Sending them to my lawyer to clear everything for release because this is going to bring down massive creators. Think 6- and 7-figure subscriber, conservative females, and a few males all being exposed at once. Their careers will be very over. Someone sent me, okay, and then he's replying to that same thing he said here. Lots of calls and texts about this today. They are panicking about who the leaker is. Oh. So, I mean, we'll see who that is. Mostly just wanted to cover the part. Too much about TheQuartering pooping his pants. I actually said fart there. But I just wanted to get the part where Hillary Crowder is just, I'm pretty sure based off of nothing, speculating that TheQuartering has been divorced for years and pretending to be married. All right, that sort of stuff right up my alley. Just baseless accusations and claims. Yes, please, more of those. And then TheQuartering just being a baby. Oh, I'm going to talk to my lawyer. You said something about that might not be true. Okay. But if you care, prove that it's wrong. Otherwise, just ignore it, bro. I mean, you just by the way he's saying, referring to her over and over as Steven Crowder's ex, I mean, that shows you how irrelevant this person is. Nobody knows who Hillary Crowder is. Even with the last name Crowder, you feel the need to say Steven Crowder's ex is like, oh, I mean, that doesn't necessarily, to me, ring off any bells that, oh, yeah, that's what Steven Crowder's ex-wife was named. Nope. He feels the need to respond to that, and he's like, I'm going to go to my lawyers. It's like, oh, wow, you're really tough. What a cool way to stand up for yourself. Some random person on Twitter says something about you, and so then you're going to go to your lawyers. It's just so pathetic. I hate how this somehow became a thing where it's cool. We're all going to go to our lawyers and handle this with the law rather than either ignore it, which would work 90% of the time, or respond in a YouTube video, or hop on a debate with them. All right. Nope. We're going to go for the least masculine route possible. I'm going to go for a lawsuit. I'm literally going to have another man come in and settle this for me because I'm too afraid to go up against some random person on the internet, even though I have millions of subscribers. It's so shameful. But people are all for that. They think it's base and it's funny and it's cool. No, it's disgusting, all right? It's even more disgusting than pooping your pants and leaving a trail throughout Walmart and ruining the seats of your car. It's more shameful and embarrassing than